It was a crisp autumn day in 2003, and London's Camden streets buzzed with an air of defiance. Somewhere in the heart of it all, Amy Winehouse, with her signature beehive and fierce eyeliner, was about to send ripples through the music world. At just 20 years old, she was no stranger to the stage. But today was different. Today, she was on the brink of releasing her debut album, Frank, a record that would challenge conventions and set her apart from the polished, pop-driven landscape of the early 2000s. Yet, this was no overnight sensation story. This album had something raw, something real, that would catch everyone off guard. Amy, do you ever think people will actually get this? Her producer, Salam Rami, asked as they sat in the studio, finalizing the last tracks. Amy, never one to second-guess herself, leaned back in her chair, a cigarette dangling from her lips. Get it? They're gonna feel it, mate. Whether they like it or not, they'll know it's real. And that's exactly what Amy brought to the table. In an era of manufactured pop stars, her authenticity was both a breath of fresh air and a sharp sting to the industry's polished image. She wasn't there to conform, she was there to make you listen, and listen hard. Born in Southgate, Amy's childhood was a tapestry of jazz records and family sing-alongs. Her father, Mitch Winehouse, filled their home with the sounds of Frank Sinatra, Ella Fitzgerald, and Tony Bennett. It wasn't long before young Amy, with her rebellious streak and an old soul's musical taste, became infatuated with jazz legends like Sarah Vaughan and Dinah Washington. This love for the classics poured into every track of Frank. But Amy wasn't just paying homage. She was infusing her own life, her own messiness, into every lyric. By the time Frank was ready for release, she had written every song herself, a rarity for young artists at the time. The world Amy was about to step into was anything but welcoming. The early 2000s were dominated by sugar-coated pop stars, from Britney Spears to Christina Aguilera, all carefully curated and marketable. But Amy wasn't marketable. She wasn't playing by the rules, and that made her a risk. Yet, that risk was also her strength. When Frank hit the shelves on October 20th, 2003, it was immediately clear that this was something new. Amy's voice carried the weight of experience. Her lyrics spoke of heartbreak, disillusionment, and personal reflection, wrapped in a sound that was both old-school jazz and refreshingly modern. Tracks like Stronger Than Me put Amy's biting wit on full display as she challenged the idea of traditional gender roles with the line, "You should be stronger than me." It wasn't just a love song, it was a statement. She took the vulnerability that came with young love and frustration and turned it into something powerful. Frank became an anthem for those who felt out of place, for the ones who didn't fit into the neatly packaged expectations of society. And yet, there was humor woven into her words, sharp, self-deprecating, and filled with the kind of honesty that was impossible to fake. The critics, at first, didn't quite know how to handle Amy. Her sound didn't fit neatly into any genre box. Was it jazz? Was it R&B? Soul? But that confusion only added to her mystique. The album wasn't a massive commercial success at first, but it started a conversation, one that would grow louder and louder. With Frank, Amy Winehouse made it clear. She wasn't here to follow anyone else's path. She was carving out her own, one brutally honest song at a time. And though this album would later be overshadowed by her even more iconic follow-up, Back to Black, it was Frank that introduced the world to a voice that couldn't be ignored. As the album settled into the public consciousness, Amy became more than just a singer. She became a symbol of authenticity in an industry often criticized for its artifice. With Frank, she reminded everyone that music wasn't just about being catchy or marketable. It was about feeling something real, something raw. This was only the beginning of Amy's story. A story that would burn fast and bright. But Frank was the spark that lit the flame.